All right, guys. So short and sweet, how you can connect the YouTube API with a Google Sheet. In this case, what we're going to do is we will move data, the data from your videos. I will explain it with my YouTube channel so you can see how it works. So for example, here, this is my YouTube channel analytics, and basically I have a bunch of videos and shorts. And what I want to do is like literally just pull all the data, lifetime data from my metrics, which is like views, watch time, subscribers, impressions, and impressions through rates to a Google Sheet, so you can do more analysis and stuff. So that's the logic, and you can see here I was testing. So that's basically what you will see at the end. It's just all the videos with all the shorts, the date that I published the video, the duration, if it is a short or a long, and this the thing with YouTube is it doesn't have like a way of knowing if it is a short or a long video. But I will explain once we get into the code how we can like have a workaround for this. Then we have the likes, views, the watch time. This might be important, and then the subscribers. This one is also important. So let's get into it. All right. So basically, we need to do some things first. As always, I tend to have a config, which is a variable with more variables, and there we'll put the tokens and all the data that we need. So I will explain that once we get into config. And then we will have an orchestrator, which is pretty much a function that it will orchestrate all the flow, right? So the flow pretty much is we get the access token. So we need to get an access token. Um, because we're using this API, YouTube API that is from Google. All the APIs from Google, we need to get a refresh token. So if you don't know what is the difference between a refresh token and an access token, basically it's like a refresh token is a token that doesn't have expiration. So we can use this token always. And the idea with this token is that we use it to get an access token. And the access token has an expiry period of like 1 day or something like that. So that's the idea. We use this token all the time to refresh this access token, right? Every time that we make a call to API. So in this function here, we will do that. Okay, so we will have also this function helper that will help us to fetch data. So basically, we'll be calling the API, right? And it will make two calls. One is going to be to report data, and the other one to video metadata. These are two endpoints. Why do we need to make two calls? Is because this is how the API works. In only one endpoint, we get like the proper data from the video, right? Like views, subscribers, all of that. And then in the other one, we get like metadata, which is like the name of the video, and the date. So metadata. So once we have these two details here, we will write to a spreadsheet and we will create this report that you saw in the beginning, right? That's pretty much the logic here. So I will explain everything from scratch so you can see it, you can replicate it. Also, you will have the template down below in the description. So if you want to make a copy of the template and follow along with me, just go down below in the description, make a copy of it. It's free, right? So let's get into it. Okay, so here we are in a brand new sheet. As you can see, I don't have anything. So basically you can get a name. So I'll use YouTube demo. And then you open extensions, and here in extensions, we will copy the code. So once we are here in the code, now we will start with this part, with the config. And here, as I mentioned, we will have all the details that we need to make this work. So I already have the code here, so I will just copy paste it so you can see. So basically we will have, this is the config, right? A variable with more variables inside. So the first part is the sheet. So here you can change the name of the sheet. In this case, I will call it a report. I will rename it here to report. You can see here, I rename it. And then, actually, let me rename this as well. And then we need these three details here: the client ID, client secret, and the refresh token. So this is like the most complex part to get. I will explain step by step how you can get it, right? So the idea here is that because it's from Google, right? We need to go to Google Cloud to get this. So you need to go to Google Cloud. So you use Google Cloud, right? And then you click this one here, and then you go to console. And here in console, you create a project. So I just have a bunch of projects. I will just create one for you to test. So you go here, new project, and you get a name, YouTube demo, right? And then you create a project. So you just wait a few seconds here, it's gonna get created. You see it's creating the project. So you select the project, And once you're under the project, and something important here is that from the account that you're doing all of this, it needs to be the same one that you have your YouTube channel, right? Because you are connecting your YouTube channel with this project, so it needs to be the same account, right? Otherwise, it won't work. Just keep that in mind. So once you have here this selected project, you go here, and then you look out for the API, YouTube API, pretty much. So it will be this one, data API, all right? You have a couple of them, but you choose the one that is data. This is the one that I will explain today. So you enable that. Okay, so once this is enabled, you will see here that we got create credentials. So you click there, and then you get here to these options. So this will be selected by default, and here you select user data, all right? And then you click next. And then here you just give it a name. I will just put the same that I'm putting everywhere, YouTube demo. Then you select a Gmail here, an email. You select that. You can put some logo and stuff if you want. And then here you put an email again. In this case, same email. Save and continue. And then here, yeah, just save and continue is fine. Then here you select what you want to do. So it's a web application. You give it a name, YouTube demo. And then this part here is super important, all right? So you need to put this URL that I will put down below in the description, which is Google Developers Playground. So let's go there. So here in Google Developers Playground, you can see developers.google.com. You will have this link in the description. Basically, this page is like a playground, right? So you can play with all the APIs and get things like access tokens and stuff like that. But this is the way that I found is like the easiest way of like getting these tokens. Otherwise, you will need to use code and stuff like that, and will get it gets confusing, right? So this is the simplest way. So as you can see here, the redirect URIs, it needs to redirect somewhere. So that's why we need this URL here. So you just copy that link and you put it there. The things like also what I've noticed is that sometimes if you put it without this, it works. Sometimes it needs to be there as well. So what I do to just to like, avoid any issues is that you put it twice, but I just remove one, right? That works. And then you click in create. And then that's it. I think you can use this as well, but like just down here. And then if we go to auth consent screen here on the left, and you go to clients, you will see that we have the client ID that we just created. So you just click there, and then you can see it here, right? So we have the client ID, and then we have the client secret, right? So that's what we need. So basically just copy that and you put it here. Let me go back to the code here. And then you put, okay, this one here, you copy the client secret and you put it here, all right? And that will be it for that part. So now for the refresh token, what you will do is that you go here to developers playground, right? And then you click here in this year, on the right, this year here, and then you click in use your own auth credentials. And then here you will input those values. So for example, if we test it here, so you can see, you paste it, you copy this one here, paste it, and then you go to the left and you will see all the APIs, right? So we need the one that is YouTube. So as I mentioned, we have a couple of them. So actually we have 3 of them. So you select the one data, it's the one, and you click this one. This means this is the general scope. So it means like it works with everything. If you want something more like exact, maybe just read data or just upload data or something like that, you can select them here. In this case, I will just select this one for this demo. And then you click on authorize APIs, and then it's loading. And then here, actually, it's something very important that I forgot to mention is that you need to publish this app so it works. So before you authorize here, go here to audience and then click in publish app, all right? And click in confirm. So this part is like super important. Don't forget it. So once you publish the app, now this will work. Okay, so you click here in advanced and then go to YouTube demo, then you authorize, and then you just click here on exchange authorization code for tokens. And then voila, we have here the refresh token, right? So that's basically what we need for this part here. So just copy that, put it here, right? So once we have these 3 parts, the rest is just the easy part, which is just the code. So now we need this part, the short video cutoff seconds. So basically I put this here because, like when I was explaining in the beginning, we need to get like I will be getting the short and long videos. Like YouTube doesn't have like a way of knowing if it is a long or a short video, but you can do like a cut off, like this one, and then you can classify that yourself, right? So basically, I will put like whatever is below 3 minutes and these seconds. So whatever is below 180 seconds, it will be a short. If it is greater than that, it's gonna be a long video, and that's pretty much what it will do here. So if we go to this one, you can see here that we have two columns, right? So the duration in seconds and the content type. So this one, if it is less than 180, as you can see here, is a short, short, short. If it is longer, it's gonna be a long. That way, you know if you want to only, for example, analyze data for shorts, well, you can filter like this, or only longs, you can filter that like that, right? Okay, so that's basically what you need to put here, right? The cutoff, whatever seconds you think are relevant for you, put it here. In this case, I will just stick to 3 minutes. And then here we need the metrics, right? So this is pretty much what you want to pull from the API. In this case, I want to get likes, views, the watch time, hours, and the subscribers gain per video. Okay, so you can get you can see all the metrics that you can pull here. I will share this, I will put this link down below in the description. And here you can see all the things that you can get, right? So you can get, for example, so this is the one that I'm getting, subscribe gain, likes, but you can also pull shares or like comments and stuff like that, right? So you can see all the things here. So you just edit that and it will pull those metrics for you. And voila, this is pretty much what we need to get now, right? So now we can start like running the code, and I will walk you through the code. First, I will start with the orchestrator so you can see it will actually will do. So let's start with that. So the orchestrator is this one here. And you can see here that basically what it's doing is pulling the data, right, and doing everything in order. So first it's gonna get the access token. As I mentioned, we need to use this data, the refresh token, to get the access token. Okay, so once we have the access token here, what we do is that we need to get the report data and then the metadata, right? So that's basically what is happening here. You can see these two functions are doing that. And once we have the data, basically what we're doing is writing to a sheet, right? And this is just an error, a catch, an error. And in case something breaks, we just log the error, it doesn't break. Okay, so let's start with with this one, the access token. So we need to get that one here. So let me copy this one here. Okay. So this one is the one to pull. Actually, I don't know if I can make this smaller. All right. So this is the one we need to get, like the one that we need to get the access token, right? So you can see that pretty much is an endpoint. So we're calling this endpoint, and basically we're passing the client ID, client secret, the refresh token, and the grant type is the refresh token. And then it's gonna return us the access token. That's pretty much what this function is doing here. So with that, we have already this part, the token, and now we need to code three things. So the report data, the metadata, but let's start with the feature, the helper that we will have. So you can see there is going to be our helper here. Okay, so this is the function for the all helper. So basically what this function is doing is going to receive what endpoint to use, as you can see here, and then the access token, everything that we need to make the call. And then you kind of like we use it twice, right? So that's why I didn't want to like put the same thing in both functions. So this will just save us some code. So, receives the data and then it makes the call. And once we get the call, right, once we get the response here, we kind of like just parse that as a JSON and we return it. So we can use it to write to a sheet, right? So this will be our helper. And then we need to get first the report data. So let's put it here. So this is the one for the report data. So this one, right, is pulling metrics, right, per video. But actually, I think it's easier if I explain first the other one, which is like getting the analytics, because that's the one that is pulling the video, the metadata, right? So we have this one. This is pulling the metadata. And basically, we kind of like doing some cleaning first. And this is the endpoint that we need to use to get that. So we kind of like, call the videos and everything that we have there. And then we pull that. So that comes with the names and the metadata of each video. And then this function here, what it's doing is like for each of these videos, we're getting more data, right? So we're getting the views, the subscribers, and everything, right? So you can see here the orchestrator, we're kind of doing like a loop, right? Like a for loop, like just, for all of them, get all the report data. So that's the logic here, right? So in this case, we're calling these endpoint reports, and then for all of them, what we're doing is we're getting the lifetime data. So you can see in this part, I have it filtered as lifetime. So it's pretty much pulling everything, right? So you can use like all the historic data. In case you wanted to like pull a specific data always or something, you can edit this part here, and then it will just pull that period that you need. And voila, with that, we already have pretty much everything. So now we need to just write to the sheet, right? So this is the function here to write to a sheet, which is this one here. Okay, so this is the last function that we need to write to a sheet. So basically you can see here that we're gonna get in all the data for the videos, both metadata and report data. And here we're organizing, creating the table, and then writing to a sheet. So you can see here that we're looking out for the sheet, then we're creating the headers. And then here we kind of like doing this logic that I mentioned. So we know if it is a short or a long. Here we're kind of like converting the watch time hours. And then that's it, we write to a sheet, and we kind of do some formatting here so the dates look good. You can also edit this in case you are using another timestamp, another format for your hours. But that's pretty much it, right? So now we need to run the orchestrator and see if it actually works. So you run it, and the first time that you do this, it will ask you to authorize. So it's the typical flow. You click here and authorize, here in advance, and then in go to YouTube demo. Then here, make sure that you select this checkbox here. Otherwise, it won't work. So continue. And then if we go to a sheet, let me see, you can see here that we got the data, right? So that's pretty much all for this video. There is another way, just to FYI for you to know, there is another way that you can also call data, fetch data from YouTube. It's a simpler way, which is like, for example, you go here to services. And then here, if you look out for YouTube, you can see here that we also have data, right? But I don't know, it's not that stable, and sometimes it's kind of like it's a wrapper, right? So I mean, like it's a wrapper of the API, so it will be limited to some stuff, So I think it's better if you get yourself the refresh token, which is like the part that I explained here, and from there you have access to all the API. You can do everything, right? Also, you can use this in other environments, like maybe you want to run Python or JavaScript or something. It will work the same. You only need these three details. If you were to do it like this way, only using these services here in AppScript, you are tied to only use AppScript. All right, so that's why I explain it using this way, doing it this way. It's like it's more flexible. But yeah, like basically that's how it works. You will have this template down below in the description. Just make a copy of it. It's free. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments. I will reply to them as soon as I see them. I hope this video is helpful.